welcome to the Straight Outta BS podcast. Thank you guys for your continued support. I really appreciate it. Please continue to share the videos, like the videos, comment on them, and subscribe if you're not already. It really helps the algorithm. We're almost at 1,000 subscribers. I'm trying to reach that goal and beyond by my birthday in March. My birthday's March 15th, so it'd mean the world to me to reach that goal by then. If not, it's not the end of the world, but it would really mean the world to me because I work really hard on this podcast and I do it by myself. So I really appreciate all the support. Any way you support me financially, if you support me through Patreon or have joined the YouTube channel, I really appreciate you. It's never expected. It's always appreciated. So thank you guys for that. Links are in the description for that if anybody's interested. And I want to do a moment of silence for the person still struggling with intrusive thoughts or addiction or anything like that. So on the count of 3, I'm going to do a moment of silence. 1, 2, 3. Okay, thank you for that. And without further ado, I want to go ahead and introduce my guest for the day. I have a return guest, so go ahead and introduce yourself and where you went and what years, and give us like a brief rundown of like where you went and how you felt about it, and then go ahead and jump into whatever else you wanted to talk about today.
Awesome sauce. My name is Scott Castor. I went to Oblong Children's Christian Home in Oblong, Illinois, Crawford County, the year of 87 and 89. My abusers are Ross and Nancy Luzader, along with their sons, Mike, Mark, and John Luzader. Kind of brief summary. My podcast is with our first one is going to be coming up here very, very shortly. So if you guys want to, look at the first one, it'll go more in depth of the torture I went through and others have went through. And just here recently, I found out somebody left the program, Oblong Children's Christian Home in 2009, that pretty much went through this still, because they're still running, went through some situations. And because of that, the effects of, they're in their addiction and mental health because of for me, just a brief summary. It was physical, psychological, emotional, mental, abuse. Also, it was being locked in a closet, food withheld, clothing withheld. And I didn't get into this last time, but, using the religion doctrine also as a punishment.
Yeah.
And a lot of us that's been in, these programs, and I'm pretty sure you yourself can relate, that, with the abuse comes the long-term effect of these abuse. Even though we're no longer in that, those programs, we're still suffering from it.
Yeah.
And, because quote unquote, they programmed us. Well, yeah. We're having to relearn to unprogram ourselves.
Yeah.
And, and a lot of us, as we get into adults, like with me, the Oblong Children's Christian Home, I can only, and sometimes the bad outweighs the memory of the good. But I know there's some good parts, but dang it, man, just the torture of what they did to me, and and what I've witnessed, what they did to others. It's it's a lingering effect.
Yeah.
And for me, and this is what I want to talk about today, is because a lot of us isn't talking about it. Maybe some are ashamed because of, what they're still going through, and maybe some are too scared to talk about it, and maybe some are just not understanding why their life, is, to them is spinning out of control.
Yeah. Definitely.
And I've learned personally, and it took a long time, through counseling, the right medication, one mistake after another, after another, after another, to kind of finally realize, oh, that's the reason why all these things happen. It's because of what we went through as a child.
Yeah,
Why,
definitely.
why are we addicted? Because we're self-medicating ourselves, because we're trying to forget, being called retarded, you know, being called all these names, because now it's brainwashed into us, and it's ingrained now in our subconscious, that now, since we're young adults or adults, that's what we think we are. So
Yeah.
we're living a life of addiction, homelessness, some prostitution, selling drugs for me, and I want to say this right off the bat. Anything I talk about myself, I'm not justifying or glorifying. I'm very ashamed of some of the things I did, you know, through my life. But
Definitely.
now, at the age I'm at, I realize my mistakes, and that's why. And I'm pretty sure you see a lot of my posts. It's uplifting, on my page. It's
Yeah.
uplifting, and it's encouraging, and it's letting people know, if you need help, I know the resources. That's no cost to you. I just
Yeah.
need to know, like the state and city that the person's in, so that I can get them into those right resources.
Yeah.
But for me, I had to learn the hard way. Me committing crime. You know, why was everybody, you know back in the day, because my nickname back then was, oh, Big Bull is a tough guy, but no, I was an idiot. I love to fight. I love to rob people. You know, I, and I always made the justification, I'm doing this for my family. No, I was doing it for my own selfish pleasure,
Yeah.
because I was always taught. I was always taught I would never be good enough to succeed in life.
Yeah.
So a lot of people that's doing these crimes, I mean, even people, you know, you see people that's in jail and, prison, and they're doing an interview on TV. Well, why'd you do this? Well, I don't know. Well, yeah, you do. You just don't want to say. You was hurt as a child.
Yeah.
Something happened as a child that it's changed your direction in your life.
Yeah.
And for me, it was anger. I thrived on anger. I didn't know why I was angry. You know, I
Yeah.
I had a great wife, a beautiful kids, but just because I I felt useless. I felt like I couldn't accomplish anything. So why not rob somebody? Why not, sell drugs? Why not do this? Why not do this? Why, you know, why not get in a fight with somebody to prove how tough I am? Because I've always been called um, gay and homosexual and all this. And okay, well, let me show people how tough I am. Because, you know, it's okay to be gay and proud now.
Yeah.
But back then, you know, in the 60s, 70s, 80s, you know, that term was used as a derogatory term to break people down, to make them feel useless and worthless.
And it works.
It works. Very much so it works. So whenever you get to be an adult, you know, you're questioning your sexuality.
Yep.
You're, you know, and you're at a point in your life like me, I'm a retired iron worker journeyman.
Yeah.
Well, that field right there, you have to have that persona. You're a tough guy.
Yep. The men who built America.
Yes.
Yep.
So, you know, you have to have that persona that you're a tough guy, that you don't take no crap and all this, but in the back in your head, because what, you know, these programs has, you know, taught us is we're no good.
Yep.
We can't do nothing without help.
Yep.
And these programs are supposed to, quote unquote, make us, you know, better so we can deal with society. I didn't deal with society good. I didn't.
Yep.
I was reckless. I was dangerous. I definitely hated myself. I've tried to kill myself 3 times.
Yeah.
3 times so because, you know, going to sleep, even today, even though I'm taking the proper medication, going through counseling and all that, there are times my girlfriend has to wake me up and say, Scott, you know, are you okay? Because I have night terrors.
Yeah. Me too. Yeah.
You know, because of, yeah, I've been incarcerated, you know, but I don't have night terrors of me being incarcerated. I have night terrors of my childhood.
Yeah.
That's where my night terrors come from.
Yep.
And, you know, and really what I dealt with in prison, and I dealt with a lot in prison, and I've seen a lot of crazy stuff in prison, but I'd rather go to prison than deal with stuff that I dealt with as a child.
Because it's terrifying.
Very much so. Very much so. And with, you know, the abuse we received, the food being withheld, and of course the clothing withheld. With me, my clothing was withheld, and we talked about this. It was in January, in the Illinois winter in January, where I had to be outside with a muscle shirt and shorts, no shoes, no coat.
Yeah.
So in the back of your head, it's, am I going to live through this day? Am I
Yep.
going to survive this day?
Fight or
You know,
flight.
fight or flight, exactly. And for some of us, you know, and I'm not going to name programs and, you know, documentaries and all this stuff, but so many of us, I mean, for me, I've been choked out, you know, choked out to the point I passed out. What if that one time I got choked out, I died?
Yeah.
You know, so going into adulthood, you've always got that fear. You always have that fear, even as an adult, of people you encounter.
Yeah. Totally.
Especially whenever you're doing wrong.
Yep.
You know you're doing wrong, and the thing is you're not knowing why am I doing this? You know, well, it all, there's a root,
Yep.
and it stems back to that. You know, and mental issues. You know, with people that's been abused and don't get it taken care of, that, abuse grows into mental disorders,
Yep.
bipolar, depression, anxiety, PTSD,
Yep.
social disorders, other manic disorders.
Yep.
And a lot of people, really don't know, why they have these. And a lot of time it's because of that major trauma in your life that you did not properly get taken care of. You self-medicated. You slept with this person and that person and that person to forget, just a moment to forget your life.
Yeah. You become a mirror for a lot of people.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And, I still have a friend, and, he's more like a brother to me, but he wants to almost glorify what we did in our past. And and I have to kind of remind him, I'm not that person. And I really don't like that person I was.
Yeah.
And go ahead. I'm sorry.
Not proud of that person.
Not at all. Not at all. Because I hurt so many people along the way because I was hurt myself.
Yeah.
And
Hurt people.
exactly. And my self-esteem and my self-worth was crap.
Yeah.
Because anything I tried to achieve and all that stuff would always become a failure because I was always told I would be a failure.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so, which led me into, doing bad things. I was talking to some people yesterday and today about how a lot of these kids that come out of the programs are now lost children. And I don't know if you've ever heard that term, lost children, which is children that become living on the streets.
Yeah. I've heard it.
Because they don't have that social skills and all that to really deal with society, even as a work environment.
Yeah.
Which it pretty much was the same way with me.
Yeah.
Instead of me, which I have lived on the streets, but not severe enough as some of these others where they're prostituting themselves. They're doing anything to survive.
Yeah.
To not just to feed their habit, just to get food or maybe a night in a motel.
Yeah.
And
if you're lucky. If you're lucky.
If you're lucky.
Yeah.
If you're lucky. And and it's all because of these programs. And people want to talk about, well, why aren't these programs getting shut down? These programs has a root. They're the tree and they got a root, and they got so many things going on in these roots. They got the government backing them. They got the county backing them. They got the state backing them. They got their whatever town or city backing them. Plus, they have some pretty dang good lawyers. And they don't just have one lawyer. They usually have 2 or 3 good lawyers.
And they're incentivized to have the most children at one time.
Exactly.
So
And it's just, so trying to shut these programs down, it's nearly impossible.
Yeah, because
And
you shut one down and another one pops up like a hydra.
exactly, like a supercell.
Yep.
You know, I mean, for real, for real. And you can shut down 5 of them, but with those 5, 20 are going to open up in a different name.
Yep. Yep.
And it could be the same person that's opening them up.
Yep. Just under
You
different.
know?
Yep. Using different shell companies, different
Yes.
donators, whatever it is.
Exactly. I mean, they've learned to con people.
They're con men. Yep.
Exactly. They're con men. And they're scammers. And they're traffickers.
Yep.
Because a lot of these programs, I mean, the Diddy situation.
Yep.
We're starting to find out some of those kids were in some of these programs.
Yep.
The FBI. Go ahead.
Might have even been trafficked from these programs either before, during, or after their stay there into these kind of situations because they're vulnerable.
Exactly.
Yep.
But it's not just the Diddy situation, but I mean, for real, some of these programs do, traffic these kids, for, whatever reason,
Yep.
and more or less it's about the money.
Yep. And power.
And definitely power.
Yep.
And, but for me, and I'm not trying to sound ungrateful, and I know this is going to sound like I'm being ungrateful, but I'm not. But thank God, at the Oblong Children's Christian Home, I didn't receive sexual abuse. My sexual abuse came from my father.
Yeah.
And, as we talked, reason why my father and my stepmother put me in there is because I was starting to fight back.
Yeah.
And instead of sending me to my mom, it was kind of hiding me away from my mom.
Yeah. You're the problem.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
We're not the problem. You're the problem.
Yep.
Matter of fact, you're a mistake.
Yep.
So that's another thing that's instilled and ingrained in our head is, okay, not only are we receiving abuse from these so-called programs, but we're receiving abuse from our families. And granted, a lot of the kids that goes through these programs has halfway decent parents, but most of us, our parents just, hey, kind of threw us, into the pack of wolves.
Yeah. Yep.
But, but with me, with me, and here's, I'm just going to say, with me, I've been to jail, prison, homeless, one bad relationship after another. For me, my mental illness is PTSD, social anxiety, panic attacks, depression, bipolar, and manic depression. And all that stems back to, it's not my drug use. I used to have a $2,500 a week habit.
Yeah.
And that was because I moved the stuff.
Yep. I can relate.
So, I mean, anybody that was in that world knows that you're allowed to get a little cut, but you also get a wad. of green, of cash too,
Yeah.
which also helped feed your habit.
Yeah.
My house, my house with my first wife. I mean, I had that paid off before I knew her. I had my truck paid off, had a Harley, I had a Pearl drum set, a Stratocaster, a Fender, being an ironworker journeyman, but on the downtime, I was doing criminal acts.
Yeah.
I was robbing, selling drugs, selling guns. And I might as well say, pimping, but I don't know if you call it pimping because the girls came to me and said, "Hey, Scott, you know how to fight. While we go do this, can you just stay in the car? And if we don't come out a certain time, can you, kick in the, sure, why not?"
Like an enforcer.
Yeah. Yes. But I told them, I get a percentage. I'm not doing the, I'm not going to sit out here for however long for free.
Well, felonies aren't free. Yeah.
And yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So, but whenever people from society look at somebody like me, it's, "Oh, you're scum, you're a piece of crap, you're this, you're this, you're this." I'm doing this because I don't know what else to do.
Yeah. Yeah. Which almost everybody does it because they don't know what else to do.
Exactly. I'm doing this because, I'm doing this because this is what I was told I would only know how to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, you know, I'm not, I, who wants to grow up and say, "Hey, I'm going to grow up and be an addict"?
Yeah. Yeah. Nobody.
Nobody.
Yeah.
But when they go through these programs and they, beat it in you and brainwashing you into thinking these things, well, guess what's going to happen? You're going to grow up to be a menace to society.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're going to have severe mental issues because you're not, for real, you're not knowing what's going on with your body because you're still a young adult. You're still dealing with the trauma of, being a kid and trying to learn how to be an adult now. And that's not working too good for you.
Yeah.
Um, it's just, these programs has ruined so many lives. I know for me, I don't like blaming anybody for my life, how my life turned out. But I do have to say that the Oblong Children's Christian Home, Oblong, Illinois, played a very, very big and crucial part in destroying my life. Because I truly do believe that if they were what they said that they were supposed to be, a sanctuary for me and others, and any program, I truly do believe my life would have went a different direction. I believe, I would own my own home by now. I would believe my finances would be way better than they are. I believe that the career path I chose, would be a lot better.
Yeah.
You know, I believe that the relationship I had with my kids, was way better than what it was because of my choices. They went without a father. Because I was incarcerated, and then from incarceration, then I had to go into a program, which Mission Gate Prison Ministries out of Chesterfield, Missouri, great program. Rick and Trish, they are who they say they are. They do care. They do take time. If they see somebody that's truly trying to change their life, they will push that person to make it through.
Yeah.
But after that, it was they gave me a choice of staying there. And I'm like, no, I got to get closer to my kids and all that stuff. But after I left there, it was just one bad choice after another, one bad relationship after another. And it was just that, self-gratification just for a moment so I could forget of how much of a piece of crap. And at that time, I was depressed. I didn't want to live. I didn't care who, who I was or who I wanted to be.
Yeah.
And only reason why I stayed in Missouri is because I was on parole, because
You had to.
Exactly. Whenever I got arrested, I went on the run for 2 years. So I had that stipulation with Missouri that I cannot leave the state because I was a flight risk.
Yep.
But once I got done with my probation and parole, I'm going to go back to Texas, back to El Paso, where I grew up, and start up a boys' home. And I didn't have the means or the funds to do anything like that. But I became homeless there because everybody that said that they had my back there, they didn't. Oh, you could stay here until you get on your feet. Oh, you can do this until you can get on your feet. And I knew if I went back, because I was an ironworker journeyman, it wouldn't take me no time to find me a job.
Yeah.
But nobody's really going to hire you if you're homeless.
Yeah.
It's very rare that you'll find a job or a place that you're homeless, and then that's when I start noticing a lot more mental issues that was coming on. Start noticing with bigger crowds, I just felt like I was going to pass out. My heart was going to pound out of my chest, and having crying spells for no reason, and just having such rage and anger. And that's when I was, somebody told me about getting on Social Security because it sounds like I've got a lot of issues that I can't cope with society. I can cope with society and all that. And, whenever I start talking to doctors, how many times have you been fired? And why did you get fired? Have you been fired for fighting? Well, yeah. Most of the time it was for fired. Why? Well, because somebody, disrespected me or somebody called me a name. Well, okay. So somebody called you a name. Why? Well, because being called names and all that in the Oblong Children's Christian Home, I'll be dang that somebody's going to call me names out here. And it all leads back to the Oblong Children's Christian Home.
Yep.
Or whatever program people are in. If but it's been these last few years, great things is starting to happen. I start learning that whenever I start getting my issues, and I like to call them my bugaboos, okay, I have to step back and recenter and refocus myself. And for me, it's my faith. And And it bothers the shit out of me. And excuse me, but fuck all you guys that call me religious. I am not religious. I'm spiritual.
Yeah.
Religion is man-made.
Yeah.
You put a title on religion.
Yeah.
Spiritual is going according to scripture the best way you can. But spiritual is, because religion, you judge people. Oh,
Yeah.
you're this way. Oh,
Yeah.
you're living this way. Shame on you. You're going to hell.
Yep.
Oh, you're doing this. You're going to hell.
Virtue signaling.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Kind of like what the Oblong Children's Christian Home did, is use it as a weapon.
Yeah.
Is, you know, spirituality is, okay, what does he have for your life? Not anybody else's life, but for your life. And what is the, number one thing? Okay, I know he loves me. I know he did this. I know he did this. I got to have humanity.
Yeah. It's being able to decode the scriptures and see what they're actually saying at the core of
Exactly.
they're saying, instead of taking every single scripture literally. You know what I mean?
Exactly. And the thing is a lot of these churches want to pick and choose certain verses that best suit
that work for them. That work for them. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
No, read the whole chapter.
Yeah.
And then go from there, because the word is different for everybody. It's not the same for everybody. Everybody's not going to get the same thing from scripture.
Yeah.
It's not
And some scriptures might not speak to you at all, and that's fine. You know?
Exactly.
Eat the grapes, spit the seeds out.
Exactly. But but the thing is, with me being spiritual, it may not work for everybody.
Yeah, and if it doesn't, that's fine. Do what works for you.
Exactly. But I've had people say, well, how do you know God and Jesus is real? Well, I mean, how do you know you're breathing air?
Yeah.
Well, I don't believe in God and Jesus. Well, that's fine. That's okay, because they still believe in you, and
Yeah.
they'll be waiting for you.
Yeah.
But churches saying like that, it's like, oh, how dare you, you sinner?
Yeah.
No, you don't push people away. Like with what we're doing right now, we all need to come as a community and quit attacking one another and quit bashing each other, because, oh, my program was worse than your program, or my program, I suffered more at my program. It don't make a difference. Abuse is abuse, and it should have never happened to us.
Yeah.
And for us trying to dictate and be in a a spot where we're trying to up one another, stop that crap, man. We need to support one another. Like with you, man, I hope your podcast becomes something great and big and awesome, and helps hundreds more, because these abuses is not going away anytime soon.
Yeah. It's actually getting worse.
It is. It is. And now, I mean, it's starting to become more, open and light, and people are starting to see that these abuses aren't just something new. They've been going on for years and decades. If you don't mind me asking, how old are you?
33.
33. I'm 52.
Yeah.
And that's a big gap in between our age.
Yeah.
And, and the sad thing is I'm older than you, but I can relate to, as an old guy, I can relate to you, because we've been through the same, maybe not the same program, but the same devastation. So
Yeah.
we're connected that way.
Yeah. The same kind of abuse, yeah.
Exactly. So we're connected that way.
Yeah.
And as a community, we're all connected that way.
Yeah.
And, you know, and instead of, you know, somebody struggling and all that, whether they're homeless, especially if they're homeless, you know, don't make fun of that person that's homeless, because, you know, you don't know what they went through in their life.
Well, also
And
that could be you if you miss a paycheck, or if you don't get paid next paycheck. That could easily be you. One paycheck these days is all it really takes to lose your house and lose your housing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, like now there are some that's homeless that choose to be homeless.
Yeah, yeah.
You know,
There
like,
definitely is. Yeah.
but you got a lot of them that don't want to be homeless.
Yeah, and would take housing if they were offered it, you know?
Exactly. But there are some that's just got mental, you know, severe mental issues. I don't know if I've talked to you about this. I know I've talked to a few people, but I mean, I've seen judges that's been homeless, professors,
Yeah.
ex-cops.
It doesn't discriminate.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. But the majority I'm seeing is, whenever you ask, you know, and you really start talking to some of them, especially, you know, like the young. Yeah, I used to be in a program.
Yeah.
Oh, no shit.
What
Yep.
kind of program? Yeah. That's my
Yeah.
next question, is what kind of program?
Yeah. You know, what kind of program? You know, were you in a program, you know, as a kid, or, yep, my mom and my dad, and, you know, but for all of us that's been in these programs, we're thinking we're just the only ones that this has happened to. And we're starting just to find out there's
Yeah.
millions of us, and we're all, and it's really all starting to connect, you know, because with the WASP program, you know, the WASP program is also connected to this program. This
Yeah.
program is also connected to this program. This program, and I'm pretty sure once all these factors and all this, we're going to find out that all these programs are connected to each other.
Well, they are. Yeah. At the very
You
base level. Yeah.
Exactly. But the thing is here's these idiots that's ran these programs and, you know, been arrested and let out within 6 to 3 months and start a new program. But here's us survivors struggling,
Yeah.
you know. Now, don't get me wrong. There's some survivors, you know, like Jelly Roll, you know,
Yeah.
Jason D. Ford. A lot of people don't know. And I'm going to say this, Jason D. Ford used to be in a boys' home. He
Yeah.
don't talk about it a lot. In one of his interviews with his wife Bunny, he did briefly, but
Yeah.
he didn't want to go in depth about it.
Well, that makes a lot of sense actually with what his music talks about, and you know what I mean?
Exactly. Um, he's also been in a prison program like I was,
Yeah.
but he don't talk a lot about it.
Yeah.
Um, and a lot of people may not know him, and I'm just going to only call him by Tim. Tim used to be, when a Rob Hoffer from Judas Priest left briefly, Tim uh, was a fill-in singer for
Yeah.
Judas Priest. Well, me and him was in the Oblong. I don't know. Me and him was in the Oblong Children's Christian Home. He don't really talk about the Oblong Children's Christian Home
Yeah.
and his experience there. So, a lot of these celebrities will say, yeah, I was in there, and leave it at that.
Yeah. Well, also, they have a reputation to uphold also. So if they, I mean, I feel like a big part of that for them is probably public perception. Because if you come out and say that you were in a school like that, you must be bad. You must have been a bad kid to be sent there, is the general consensus by the general population.
Exactly. And the thing is we weren't bad kids. We were confused.
Yeah. We needed help.
Exactly. A lot of us, a lot of the kids, they were, had mental issues that they didn't know, and their parents did, because they were religious. Here we go with religious, and oh, God will heal you, and God will do this, and God will do this. Well, guess what? God made doctors too.
Yeah.
And when what people, let's go biblical. People think Matthew was just a tax collector. No, Matthew was also a doctor.
Yeah.
So take your kid to the doctor, get them properly diagnosed, and quit pushing them, into these programs to where they're going to get abused. Because when they grow up, they're not going to grow up the way you want them to grow up.
Yeah. Regardless how bad you want them to be.
Exactly. Because now they've got this trauma and they don't know how to live their life as an adult. So they're making mistakes, which is making you upset as a parent. And, oh, Scott, yeah. Yeah, he lost another job for fighting. Yeah. And he, well, reason why I fought is I'll be darned. My dad was a very big guy, and he hit me, and he never knocked me on my knees.
Yeah.
And he used some strong words. Oblong Children's Christian Home, only reason why they knocked me on my knees is because they choked me out and made me pass out. But I will be darned, as a young adult, somebody's going to think that you're going to punk me out. No, you ain't going to punk me out.
Yeah.
But now I'm 52 years old. I don't care. You don't like me? Great. Don't like me. I don't care.
Yeah.
You like me? Awesome. I'm going to make sure I'm a loyal and faithful friend to you.
Yeah.
If you got issues that's going to affect my life, don't get mad if I'm not going to be a part of it, because I don't want it to affect my life, because I've had enough problems in my life.
Well, self-preservation is important.
Exactly. But I'll help you. I'll try to help you the best way I know how. But if you're wanting money from me, I am poor. I'm on Social Security, food stamps. I live below poverty level. But I know you need food. I know some great food banks.
Yeah.
I know resources, any resources. You need your utilities paid. I know resources that will pay your utilities for a year.
Yeah.
I know some resources that would, help pay your rent.
Yeah.
Or are you suffering from substance abuse? I know those places.
Yeah.
And the only reason why I know those places is because I had to learn myself.
Yeah.
And I mean, at 52 years old, I've almost unprogrammed myself.
Yeah.
I realize I'm important. I'm realized I am lovable. I'm realized I can be a dick, but I'm not a dickhead.
Yeah, there's a difference. Yeah.
I've got compassion for people, and I'm okay if people has compassion for me. I used to not accept people having compassion for me, but it's okay now.
Yeah.
You know, I'm after many years, I'm starting to rebuild the relationship with my family, my stepbrother, you know, and you've seen pictures of my family. I come from a very colorful family,
Yeah.
but they're all beautiful.
Yeah.
And my big brother, he's always going to be my big brother. He's my stepbrother, but he's my big brother. We're you know, communicating now. You know, he's letting me in to his life and into his world little by little, and I'm doing the same way. Because I mean, I still have, you know, and that's the thing, goes back to the Oblong. I still, to this day, I don't know if I'll ever get over it. I have major trust issues.
Yeah. Me too. Yeah.
Major trust issues, and it all stems back to, you know, to these programs.
Yeah.
But I'm going to kind of end it here because, you know, because I feel like it's just going to be like almost like a broken record.
Okay.
And I don't want, I just, you know, this interview, I just wanted people, if you are going through some of the stuff I've talked about and you're wondering why am I doing this? You know, why am I robbing people or this, and this? Well, for one, please stop robbing people because you're fixing to either get killed or go to prison.
Yeah. And you're
You
not
can't,
making any friends. You're not making any friends by doing that.
you're not, you know, and if people are encouraging you to do that, believe me, they're not your friends.
No.
Because whenever you get locked up, if you've got a boyfriend or a girlfriend, believe me, Jody's going to be coming knocking on your door. And if you don't know who Jody is, it's one person that's saying, hey, I'm your best friend while we're doing this crime, and I'm going to hook up with your lady while you're locked up,
Yeah.
or I'm going to hook up with your boyfriend while you're locked up.
Yeah.
If you are questioning your sexuality, find out, who are you most attracted to. If you're a man and you're attracted to a man or a transgender woman, then that's probably who your love interest is.
Yeah, and that's fine. That's perfectly fine.
Exactly. Because, you know,
You don't need to feel shame. You don't need to feel shame about that.
no, because you've been in these programs and they use that, you know, provocation of you being gay and homosexual and excuse the derogatory term faggot and all
Yeah.
that to break you down.
Yeah.
No, don't, you know, if that's who you're, you know, you feel the connection with is a transgender woman or uh, a man, then okay, that is who you're supposed to be with.
Yeah.
And people's, you know, and I know I'm going to get a backlash from the religious people, you know, of, you know, oh, you know, you're not, you know, if you're a man of God and you're a man of Jesus, you're not supposed to be saying that. No, 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 no. God calls us to love everybody.
Yeah.
Gay, straight, green, purple, it don't make a difference.
Yeah.
It's not our place to judge. It's not our place to judge, because he says in scripture, judge not unless you want to be judged.
Yeah.
And believe me, if you're judging, he's going to judge you harder.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But as I was saying before, you know, but if you feel connected as a man and you believe that you're supposed to be a woman, then be with that woman,
Yeah.
you know. Or if you're bisexual, okay, I don't know what to tell you with that one. But okay, that's okay too.
Yeah. Yeah. It's all
It's
okay.
it's all okay. But number one thing is you got to forgive yourself.
Yeah.
You've got to love yourself. Because what was done to us, it's not our fault. We did not do anything to give them permission to do the things that they did to us.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah.
So with that, I just want to say, may peace, love, joy, happiness be with you. I hope great things happen for your life. For you, my friend, thank you for having this podcast to get, this awareness out there. I hope this podcast grows to be something way bigger. And I hope, the goal that you're setting for yourself for March, you achieve it.
Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Means a lot. As always, if you want to do another interview, that's perfectly fine. If stuff comes up, just take some notes and we'll do another interview. My platform's always open to you. If you're watching this, go ahead.
I was wanting to say real quick, I'm finding out a lot more stuff. So let me find out a lot more stuff, and we'll do one here in a few months.
Okay. Yeah, sounds good. Just let me know whenever you want to do that. And if you're struggling, if you're just coming out of one of these places or coming across this podcast, or if you're struggling and want to tell your story, my platform is always open. Don't be afraid to send me a line. I've never turned down an interview, so don't be afraid to reach out. And if you've watched this far in the video, please make sure you leave a like, leave a comment down below. I'd love to meet you, say hi, and if you want to interview, just let me know and we'll make it happen. Subscribe if you're not already, and share. Let's get the word out about these places and keep on changing parents' minds about sending their kids away and helping people deprogram from these places. And until then, we'll catch you on the next one, and you guys have a wonderful night. Bye, y'all.